What's up, guys? LQ here with the LQ Review, and I'm here to review Jojo Rabbit. And how do I do this? I just last week told you guys Joker is the best movie of the year. It's better than Avengers Endgame. It's better than anything else that I've seen this year that I've raved about. And then, literally, just a few days later, I watched Jojo Rabbit. And I'm telling you guys, I think Jojo Rabbit's my favorite movie of the year so far. I really do. I think it's the best movie of the year. And it's that's a hard thing to say given the subject matter. All right. So we know that Jojo Rabbit is about a boy who is he's a boy during World War II. He is German, lives in Germany, and he's a fanatic. He's a Nazi fanatic, and to the point where his imaginary friend is Adolf Hitler. Excuse me. All that this boy wants to do is go through the Hitler Youth camp and join the Hitler Youth and fight the Russians, fight the Americans, fight the English for the cause. All he wants to do is exterminate the Jews, and all that he wants to do is be a good soldier for Adolf Hitler. And how do you make a whimsy, fun comedy about that subject matter? And I'm telling you guys, Taika Waititi, the guy who wrote and directed this, he's the same guy that wrote and directed Thor Ragnarok. He did something special here. He did something special. He took this horrible subject matter, this horrific subject matter, and he created something that is funny, insightful, whimsy, relevant. He did a lot with this subject matter, and I loved it. I just loved it. So let's talk about kind of some of the inspirations that I felt Taika Waititi took from this. First of all, I think he took inspirations from Wes Anderson. In a lot of ways, this felt like a Wes Anderson movie, from the quirkiness to the script, right down to the color palette. It all felt very Wes Anderson-ish to me. But where I think this is different than Wes Anderson is Wes Anderson has a very niche group. Like, none of his movies make a lot of money. None of his movies have wide appeal. Now, I don't think Jojo Rabbit's going to have wide appeal either. Meaning, I don't think Jojo Rabbit's going to make a lot of money. But I do think that it would have more mainstream appeal if it wasn't for the subject matter, because it's funny and the comedy is very, very mainstream and just very relevant. So I really think that if the subject matter were different, that this would have a huge, broad appeal. But it's the subject matter that it is. It's about Nazi Germany. And Nazi Germany right now, Nazism right now is a really hot button topic because of our political climate today. You've got liberals calling conservatives Nazis. You've got conservatives calling liberals Nazis. You've got Democrats, Republicans calling each other Nazis. You've got the centrists in the middle calling both of them Nazis. Everybody's calling everybody Nazis right now. And I'm a history teacher. The reality is that anytime I hear somebody call another group of Americans Nazis, I'm like, maybe you should have paid more attention in history. All that's aside, Nazism is very, very touchy in America right now. So I don't think this is going to have a really wide appeal. And that's too bad, because it's very relevant and it's very, the message here is not Nazis are bad. We know Nazis are bad. We've known Nazis have been bad since World War II, right? We've known Nazis have been bad for 80 years now. We've known this. This is nothing new. That's not the message of the movie. The message of the movie isn't Nazis are bad. We know this. The message of the movie is hate is bad. Hate is bad. And this movie actually analyzes hatred. How do we form the biases that we form against other groups of people? That's the point of this movie. That's what the movie is analyzing. Jojo is a little boy who's in the Hitler youth camp. And he has these biases because of the world around him. He has these biases because of what he's being fed. He has these biases because he's been brainwashed from the time he was a boy to be little Hitler. That's who he is. That's what he's been raised with. That's what he knows. That's where these biases come from. We aren't just born with biases. Racist people aren't just born racist. It's stuff that's fed to us. It's stuff that's given to us as we grow. And that's what this movie's about, is how do we get this way? How do people end up this way? So this movie takes a very comedic look at hatred and bias and how a young boy, Jojo, he's a little boy, how this young boy ends up with this hatred that he has throughout this movie and the hatred that he's trying to shed through the course of this movie. And for the most part, he's able to shed that hatred. At the end of the movie, I will not say that this is a reformed young man. But I will say this is a young man who has let go of the hate. And he's on his way to being reformed. So the way that this movie tackles it, though, is through comedy. And it's a very funny movie. And they're able to do it through satire. They're able to take the Nazis and make them look like buffoons, make them look like morons, make them look like idiots. It's the same principle that Mel Brooks had in not in Spaceballs. The same principle that Mel Brooks had in Blazing Saddles. In Blazing Saddles, he made the racist idiots look like idiots. And that's how he got away with doing a lot of the edgy stuff that he did during Blazing Saddles. That's why Blazing Saddles is still relevant today. In Jojo Rabbit, Taika Waititi tackles some really controversial stuff. But he does it through satire, making the Nazis look like the morons that they were. But, here's the reality. Nazis were very dangerous people. Nazis were very dangerous people, and Nazis had a lot of ability. They had a lot of ability. They were very dangerous. But their ideology is moronic. So we take that ideology and we make them who they are. I saw somebody recently online say Jojo Rabbit's dangerous. Jojo Rabbit's a dangerous movie because it makes the Nazis look like morons, when in fact they're really dangerous, and that whole ideology is dangerous. Yes, absolutely. Nazism is dangerous. The Nazis were dangerous. The ideology was dangerous, but the ideology is also moronic. Down to its core, hatred is moronic. And that is why we're able to take the Nazis and have them be personified by the moronic nature of their ideology and make them look like idiots and get away with it because it's hilarious. It's hilarious. So yeah, nobody in this movie, Taika Waititi wasn't trying to make the Nazis look like they weren't dangerous. He's not trying to soften the Nazis up and say, oh, let's feel bad for the Nazis. No. Horrible people, horrible ideology. Today, the ideology is horrible. The whole idea of supremacy is horrible. Horrible. But we can take the idiotic ideology and expose it for what it is. And kind of personify that a little bit. So all that being said, like I said earlier, Hitler is never actually in this movie. Taika Waititi plays Hitler, but he is imaginary friend Hitler. So he's Jojo's imaginary friend. And it's Hitler because he idolizes Hitler. So Hitler's going to be this kid's imaginary friend. And what's really interesting to me is the way that they progress the two stories, Jojo's story and Hitler's story. So as Jojo, he finds this Jew living in his walls that his mom is hiding from him and not telling him about, mind you. And as he learns about this Jew that's hiding in his walls, and as he learns about her and how she's just like him, and that they're not evil people, they're normal people, as he starts to shed his hatred and actually fall in love with her. So he sheds his hatred and falls in love with her. You've got imaginary friend Hitler, who at the beginning of the movie is quirky and fun and silly and all this. He evolves, and by the end, he is angry. He is angry, and Jojo can see Hitler for what he is: an angry, sad, pathetic bully. So as Jojo's able to grow and let go of this hate, he's able to see Hitler go from "he's my friend" to what he really was: an evil, evil man. So I love that progression in it. The acting in this movie is on point. Okay, not only was Taika Waititi great as imaginary friend Hitler, Scarlett Johansson is in this as Jojo's mom. She plays just a very broken character. And if anybody in this movie deserves award consideration, I think it's her. Because she was just a broken character. She, number one, was trying to hide this Jew in her house. And number two, she is watching her son sell his soul to the Nazis. And there's nothing she can do about it. I've read some reviews of people not liking Jojo because he's a fanatic, and not liking mom because she's letting him do it. You got to understand that in Nazi Germany at this time, your kids, if you were not putting your kids into these youth programs, you were going to be investigated. And she was hiding a Jew. She did not want to be investigated. So she's hiding a Jew. She's clearly anti-Nazi, living in Germany as a German. And she's watching her son slowly become more and more and more of a fanatic, knowing that this is a kid that's going to end up in the Hitler army, in the Nazi army. So her heart's just breaking over and over and over again. Just a really fantastic performance by Scarlett Johansson. Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell had a great performance as a teacher in the youth camp, in the Hitler youth camp. Very funny. Definitely had the buffoon thing going, but he was also human. You know, you saw the human part of him. You saw the part of him that started to care for Jojo, and he even makes a big sacrifice at the end of the movie for Jojo that I think really walks the line. Because we want to see these Nazis as evil people. Because they are evil people. And that's important to remember. We want to see them as evil people because they are evil people. They were also people. So the Nazis were not without compassion for other Nazis. So we saw Sam Rockwell at the end of this movie have compassion towards Jojo. And that ends up having a big impact on him as well. Please understand that I don't think that Taika Waititi is saying this, and I'm definitely not saying this. He was an evil person. He was a bad person. Because Nazism is bad. I got to repeat this stuff over and over and over with a video with this kind of subject matter. But Sam Rockwell played an evil character. A very bad person. But he showed compassion at the end because he's human. And that had a profound impact on Jojo. So I love that character. It was a very complicated character. It was a character that didn't start complicated at the beginning of the movie. But as his character progressed, we saw that there were layers to this character. Speaking of a character without layers, the Rebel Wilson character. Rebel Wilson is in this movie. She plays another teacher at the Hitler Youth Camp, and there were no layers to this character. She was funny. It's probably my favorite role that I've ever seen her in. Generally, I don't think Rebel Wilson's very funny. She was funny in this, but there was nothing else to the character. She was a Nazi buffoon, And it was funny. It was funny. But overall, guys, I'm telling you, this is a fantastic movie. I give this movie an A. Jojo Rabbit is a solid A. Best movie of the year. Better than the Joker. That being said, it's not going to be for everybody. Flat out, it's not going to be for everybody. All right. I'm a middle-aged, white, middle-class American. What do I know about what's offensive? Seriously, what do I know about what's offensive? There will probably be some people who are offended by the subject matter and are offended by the way it's approached. So it's not going to be for everybody. But I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was really well done, and I thought it was handled really well, and it was really relevant and really timely, and something that I find it unifying. I find it unifying when we have something like this comes out where we can all laugh at the hatred that's around us. Let's laugh at the hatred. Let's stop getting online, getting on social media, and being keyboard warriors. And let's just all together laugh at the hatred, because that's what it is. It's stupid. So that's my take on Jojo Rabbit. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. I'd love to hear it, because this is going to be a very divisive movie. It's a very complicated movie. So let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you for being here at BLQ Review, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff we love to talk about. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Every single day